Okay. All right. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Dorseys Resource. First, before we get started, I'm going to give a disclaimer. This video is for informational, educational, and entertainment purposes only. Please understand everyone's individual circumstance or situation may be different. It's up to every individual competent person to please do his or her own homework and research regarding the matter being discussed. This information is not to be construed as legal advice. In the event you feel you need to seek a competent professional such as a lawyer, a consultant, accountant, a broker, or whomever, this is not legal advice. This is not to be construed as legal advice. With that being said, all rights are reserved. These are simply my opinions on the topic. With that being said, let's get ready to start. Greetings, Camilla Barnes. Welcome to the chat. The topic of this video is going to be basically Dorsey's resource. I'm going to explain what skill sets am I looking for. Brought a little bit of notes here. I wanted to clarify some things from my previous video. I did give out my email address, but however, I didn't see the email from the specific person who requested it, and I said it was only I was doing that only for her. Says, bless you, sir, and thank you. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining as well. Appreciate it. So I want to address some things. I had already addressed some of these things in some previous videos that I've done, but some people seem like they still don't get it. If you didn't schedule an appointment and I didn't approve of the direct contact, because I have allowed a few individuals to reach out to me, but however, I went over in the past, there's specific skill sets, specific criteria, people that I'm looking for, and this is what I intend to go over in this video to clarify. I'm not going to do this anymore, but I did allow some people to reach out to me. I've already went over, I've helped out people in the past. But now's the time, and I've been feeling this way for a long time. I had a friend that's more advanced than I am. He used to actually be a stockbroker at one time, and I commend him. We've exchanged information throughout the years. He's also learned things from myself, because we're humble people at the end of the day. But he had a brokerage license. He was a Series 7 at one time. Had a Series 63 license. So I do have people that I know with credentials, because I was going to address some other things too if I have time, as far as the credibility and some of the types of videos that I do for those out there who try to accuse some of this information being conspiracy theory or not true. But that's a whole nother topic. If I have enough time, I plan on getting into that as well and doing a separate video to address that, what I do talk about. And it relates to facts and evidence, and I have credentials to back that up, not just myself, but I also have sources and legitimate contacts that makes my information credible and reputable, contrary to popular belief. So there's other things where people sometimes accuse people that sometimes they're into a lot of stuff that isn't real, like TV shows and stuff like that are made up, but they'll try to accuse you, you know what I mean, of being a conspiracy theorist. So this information, just because it may not be comfortable to certain individuals, does not mean that it's not true. That's why I do give them my disclaimer. It's up to every individual to make their own assessment and judgment. And I'm going to hopefully address that. But what I'm looking for, without further ado, the types of skill sets that I'm looking for an elite who knows how to access the funds from the DTC, or also known as the units of credit from behind the scenes in the private sector, that knows how to bring them into the public. Because there are different levels to this, and the level that I'm at, people who are novice or beginners will simply hold me back. So I don't have time anymore to try to hold people by their hand. Plus, I want to get to a certain level. I don't provide consultations. I've already previously mentioned that. And to keep it professional, my previous video, it was someone who asked me a question. Trying to think, Trina Mays, when I gave my email out, Dorsey's Resource 2017 at gmail.com, which is one of the email addresses. I have numerous ones, but one of the ones I check a little bit more often. I only meant that specifically for her. I got 2 messages back there, and I'm just going to ignore them. Like I said, if I didn't approve of whoever, I have people that numerous people that have contacted me, and I feel like I myself, people have debated over in the past as far as people charge or give donations or whatever, but I'm at the level where I've already said I felt like in the past I paid for seminars, I paid for the information, I did my due diligence. This is me personally. So if you want to reach me so bad, I feel like down the line I'm going to have to do some more in terms of branding myself, maybe with the Patreon account. Someone recommended adding donations, because I feel like the information that I give out is very high powered. I've even had an individual tell me this that I kind of went over, mentioned a little brief description of him earlier. I didn't say his name to keep him private, but he stated to me that he said, I think you give people too much information sometimes. So sometimes it's hard to regulate, but I feel as though I should be getting paid consultation for that. It's just simply growing up. My parents, generally, they were not as business savvy, or some say street hustling savvy. I had to learn some of these things a little bit on my own. Throughout the years, I was like a bookworm. I did a lot of research, a lot of studying, and sometimes people don't pour back into you. They'll take the information and they might come up with new stuff and whatever. They could pass you up, and that's fine, you know, at the level they're at. So I've already mentioned I've helped people before I could go through names in different situations, circumstances where I have assisted people. But I feel like now is the time, because I have a busy schedule. Says I've been there and know where you're coming from. Thank you, Camilla Barnes, for confirming. And I have a busy schedule. I'm on a graveyard shift. My time is precious. It's important. Some people say time is more important than money. Time is something you can never get back. So this is why now I'm going to go over, and I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm considering disabling the comments in all my videos similar to Eon. I know who Eon was, by the way. You know, he had a previous channel called Redress Right, or Legal Redress Commission. He also had a website, because I've heard people, when I was invited to the Discord app with the group over there, Freedom Repossession, and there were some other groups that I was invited to earlier from last year into going into this year, and they brought Eon up, and I told them, you know, just to show evidence of my experience in the movement that I have. I even know him by his government name, Brett Jones. When he was doing videos and information, and he switched over, and he has his comments disabled. And Eon kind of went over this, and very similarly, he said, I'm not here for you. I said, what's up, bro? Love your knowledge. Been following you for a while. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, Michael DeSanta. Much love as well. So just sharing very similarly, Eon went over similar information. Says, I just had a talk with some friends of mine. I don't expect anything except to share what I find so we can all grow. And that's fine. And I'm just kind of going over. I'll try to read the chats or try to keep up as much as I can. But the main purpose of this video, I want to address very similar to Eon. Eon did a video a while ago. He said, I'm not here for you guys. He had people, you know, reach out to him, because I'm just one person. And I feel like if I was willing to pay for the information myself, matter of fact, there was a group of people that I was working with prior that I want to build with. And maybe I'm going to go over these stories to show evidence in a way. This is a true story. And some of these people that I was trying to build with, it turned out where I was helping them more so than they were helping me. It was about, the reason I asked for women specifically is because generally women have better clerical skills than men, organizational skills. That's why women, for example, they get a lot of jobs as secretaries or assistants, working for presidents of corporations. They go into fields such as accounting, things of that nature that deals with filing paperwork, filing documents, you know, working with like insurance brokers, things of that nature. Women, I commend them. You have men that are good in these areas as well, but these areas are essential when it comes to bookkeeping, typing skills, even old school skills, because some of this information that delves into the private sector, when I was learning about dealing with the IRS to be more professional, some people that I know like to have their documents typed up or whatever. And I don't mind paying for assistance. At the same time, this is why I did state when I was looking for women specifically, this was the kind of the reason in regards to that, to clarify and just to keep it professional. I was going to answer the question that Trina Mays had in my previous video. So if you're watching or you're still out there, you can shoot me an email at dorseysresource2017@gmail.com. This was specifically addressing the question that Trina Mays had in the previous video. Other than that, if I did not ask, I did not request, or did not approve of your email, I'm just going to ignore it, because like I said, I have a busy schedule and I'm looking for people with specific skill sets in these areas. I'm looking for an underwriter who has knowledge of the private sector. I'm not talking about the public sector that has a private side. I'm talking about the elite private sector, because some people get me confused. They're not at the level that I'm at. Says, blessings, brother. Happy New Year for all, and you and your family. Thank you for the knowledge you share with us. Thank you as well. Appreciate it. So just to clarify, there are different levels to this, and I'm like at a point where I'm at taking advanced classes in this. So this is why I'm looking for specific people with specific credentials that have skill sets in this particular area of knowledge, dealing with the private, the free private sector, not to be confused with the private sector that is public. I'm referring to the elite private free sector. There is a difference. Someone elder, more knowledgeable than myself, actually shared this with me some years ago and drew a separate distinction, and even stated they don't want, you know, certain individuals or people to know about that. However, I'm just sharing that if those out there who are aware, because I get a lot of requests from people through Twitter, through Facebook, but from here on out, I'm also looking, what I am looking for specifically. So when I get people that inbox me through email and say I'm a secure party creditor, I'm way past that stage already. You know, I have all information in regards to that. I'm doing my own due diligence. I still have to finish filing paperwork and things in that nature myself, independently. I already have enough people, a private group that I study with. I have private meetings with in the separate discipline that I'm involved with. I also have another discipline that I'm involved with too, that I mentioned previously. I won't go into details about. So I'm busy in regards to that. So I don't, I get people that come to me that with these, you know, fantastic stories, but I'm looking specifically for an elite that is knowledgeable of the private sector, who knows how to access the money or pull the currency from the private sector into the public. Because had I known, if my investments had already came through or the prosperity packages had paid out, trust me, I would not be on YouTube. You know, I make a little bit of money off the AdSense, but I'm looking into setting up, I see a lot of people have a Cash Me app for donations, PayPal, of course, they have a Patreon, they have a website. I don't have none of those other things. I had a friend, a guy I know for some years, that contacted me, said, hey man, you know, you give out a lot of information. You should, you know, really look into, you know, these other things. You're kind of selling yourself short. You know, I probably could have made thousands of dollars off of branding myself, but because I didn't get the right help, the right assistance, and that's fine. You know, because everything at the end of the day, it's not always about the money, but I'm just saying I do have a busy schedule. And if some of you guys want to see me reach out more individually, I have to come up first. I have to get like at least 100,000 subscribers. I've got to, if I could have gotten assistance, because I've seen this with other YouTubers where they've got their subscribers, you know, reached out, did things from, you know, on the house, GP came in, helped them with the website, etc. So you guys want to see me take it to the next level. Some of you out there, you got to show me that, you know, you really want to help XYZ, and I'll take that into consideration. But in the meantime, that's a lot of things, because it does take time to do these things, like developing a website, attaching PayPal or GoFundMe, all of that, Patreon, etc. Jim Jones says, God bless those who help others. Yes. So sometimes you have people who help people quite a bit, and they don't get, you know, receive in return what they, you know, you would hope. It's not that you're looking to get anything back, but the way the universe works, it was stated to me by one of my mentors. Actually, one of my sensei that trained me in martial arts stated, for example, don't quote me on it, with the trees and the plants, how there's an exchange, how they give out what is it, carbon dioxide, and it gets converted. We breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon dioxide, but we both benefit each other. Like the trees help sustain humans on the planet, or H2O. There's a give and take with the carbon dioxide and the oxygen process. There's a give and take sort of thing. That's how things are supposed to work, but it's out of balance when you have people who are selfish, who just, you know, take things and they don't really pour back. And someone may have shared a lot of information, because I can tell you a story. There's some people who make more money than I am. There's a subscriber, I won't say her name, and I gave some good information dealing with the Iraqi dinar, and she didn't know about, there was this mall she discovered down in DC, thanks to my information I shared with her. And I felt I should be making off that advice that I gave her from consultation, but I didn't know how to brand myself. I've never known in a certain friend or individuals who were supposed to help me. I understand they had busy schedules. I could have been able to, you know, at least receive proceeds for the work that I put in, the work that I do. And she was actually going to pay me what it appeared like to go to some brick and mortar locations where I'm at in the state that I'm in, to purchase it on her behalf, even though she had gone through an online place, asked me some advice in regards to that up on the East Coast in New York and someplace in Georgia, that she purchased currency from somebody who's not an authorized dealer. And I said, you have to be careful and watch that. If they're not authorized by the Treasury or whatever, they don't have the proper credentials. You know, different brokers or places or coin shops, they have to be licensed to do certain types of business and things. On top of that, so she was able, based off my information that I shared, she was able to find a location where she was at, because I said if I put myself in her shoes, I would look in the area that I'm in for this particular type of location. And she makes, obviously she works for the government, I'm not saying her name, but she makes more money than I do. I can tell, obviously, I know people, they're pulling in a bankroll. And unfortunately, with the newer generation, some of us, even with my associate's degree, my college degree, a lot of these companies are downsizing. I had a sister that used to work, when I used to work at an apartment building some years ago. This is a true story. She used to rap and she could sing. She was multi-talented. And I'll say her first name, so I'm not making this up. Her name was Chastity. I used to let her use my phone a lot. Real cool. You know, she listened to hip hop. I knew her baby daddy at the time, when I used to work at the apartment building some years ago. And she shared something with me privately one day, because I think her mother worked in human resource. And, you know, human resource personnel are responsible for what people they hire into companies and stuff. They handle those types of criteria. And she told me that she relayed information. I think she got this from her mother that worked in human resource. She said that some of these companies, they only hire certain people during certain times of the year, because the economy is sort of bad during this time period. There was a recession that was going on for quite a while. It was before the 2008 bailout thing, during the mortgage meltdown, the bubble as it was getting ready to pop, but had already kind of gone through a recession. And she said, yeah, they only hire certain people during certain times of the year. She said, went as far as to say based on their social security number. Wow. Yeah. And she used to see me on my phone quite a bit back then and just share some things with me. And, you know, so I had people share different things with me throughout the years. That's how I connect the pieces, learn a lot of information, because I'm not a know-it-all either. I do my research, I do my homework, my due diligence. So just going over this information to kind of give you guys a better synopsis as to why I do things the way that I do. But this is the type of people I'm looking for, is someone who's an underwriter. You have underwriters work for, a lot of times, insurance companies, people that have car insurance, but there's different types of insurances where they know how to do the bonds, surety bonds. They know how to draw up the contract. So I'm looking for somebody who has a skill set in that area of securities, that knows also knows about the private sector, not just from the public sector, because you may not be able to help me if you just know about the public sector. You know, I don't want to get an email from somebody and they're saying, I've come to find out they only know it from the public sector. I'm looking for somebody who knows not only the public sector, but the private sector as well, the free private sector, that knows what I'm referring to, that knows how to convert that bond or securities instrument into currency. I even heard David Brock from Media Matters quoted that He knows how to pull well, dark money from the private sector or whatever, dark money into the public, which I don't know too. I don't know which strategy is different methods out there. And cryptocurrency is sort of similar in a way, but there's other information that I received too. So I'm looking for specific people with specific criteria, and I would like to see that if you do contact me, or you were to contact me at Dorseys Resource 2017 at gmail.com. That's what I'm looking for specifically, more so, is if you have a background, let me see, write a description of your credentials. You have that skill set. I don't want to just see I'm a secure party creditor, or I study, I follow Yusufville or Jonah Bay, whatever. That's not good. And I need to know, you know, for sure. Or if you're an elite and you might say, hey, Dorsey, I feel your pain, your frustration. I've been following you for a while, and I'm one of the lucky ones who was taught by their parents, who was sent to private school by invitation only, and I want to share this with you. I'll keep your name private. I'll keep who you are private. Won't disclose that to anyone. Trust me, you'll have a friend for life if you pull me through the door or walk me all the way through. You know, that would be the icing on the cake. You know, even preferably, especially if it was a female. You know, I was looking, because I did teach this information to one of my former girlfriends in the past, and there's only certain types of information, once I get to a certain level, that I'm going to go private. I'm going to shut, you know, I'll shut this channel down, no problem, piece of cake, you know, because it's not that I'm selling out, but I told a friend of mine, kind of encouraged me some years ago to kind of go public in a way. I still don't have an Instagram account, but if I'm able to make it all the way through, God willing, and my, as he calls it, my ship is able to sail through, you know, good riddance to YouTube. I don't need really social media anymore. I just use it to mainly keep in touch with my family, whatever, for security purposes. I'm not concerned about breaches. I can handle those situations too. I was trained in martial arts. I actually work in security, a form of security at the same time. So I'm an exclusive person. I'm a private person. Privately, I generally keep to myself or whatnot. But these are things that I will do. I'm a loyal person. I'm a man of integrity. Integrity implies honesty, loyalty, trustworthiness, being humble, as well as important. And you don't find people like that. This is why I also discovered, I had a friend who was kind of high up there in the pecking order some years ago, and I was sharing with another friend. I said, why would he reach out to me specifically versus some other people in his camp that he knows? And he actually, some years back, he worked President Obama's campaign. He told me this. When he moved back from Florida. I won't say his name, of course, keeping him private. And I said, but it dawned on me once I figured it out. I said, oh, it's because he needs somebody that he can trust. Because some of these elite criminal cabal people who have been double-crossing people, who have been the type of people to be like, how do you say, crabs in the barrel types with their personality archetypes, to step on people as they don't care how they get to the top. Sometimes they need people they can trust, because they know they so used to dealing with people who stab them in the back. So he was coming to me because he understood I'm a trustworthy person. But I'm only want to give that loyalty and trust to someone who's proved it. Honestly, I don't want to just be sharing this information, like I said in the past, and to another friend of mine, where we're empowering other criminals or people who want to oppress people or hurt people. I'm not in it for that, for this purpose. We already have enough of those types in this world that are using their wealth for corrupt purposes. Money is simply a tool. It's a bartering system of exchange. But you know, I can name certain families. Some of you all can name certain families. I won't say the name, who've been using their wealth for centuries to oppress people. You know, I won't go there, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So they're using their money for wicked purposes, deceitful purposes. I'm talking about using it for positive purposes too, to empower people, to like when I went over the humanitarian project ideas, for example, to you know, feed people, clothing, water filtration, affordable real estate, housing, things of that nature, but truly helping the people. And not just where some rich person, where they're not telling you, is getting a big fat write-off. Some of those people aren't part of the true private free sector. They could be sports athletes, etc. Without saying names, you guys have heard. Some of them, they could be entertainers, or whatever, but they're not telling you the stuff behind the scenes, how some of these people, it's not really hurting them. The difference with someone like myself, who gets their labor from their hard-earned work by getting their paycheck from their job, is based off their labor, to some of these famous sports athletes or entertainers that you think do these philanthropic things or philanthropy are getting a big tax write-off. So it's not really hurting them the same way as somebody who's working a 9-to-5 job. But they want to pretend and act as though they can relate to somebody who's in the middle class or poor middle class, like they're one of us. That's why I say it's different levels to this. No, they're not the same. So don't be confused. That's a manipulation trick too. Not saying some of them aren't sincere, but a lot of cases, there's groups that do track where this money is going based on certain types of nonprofits and foundations people have, if they're truly using it to give to people, like with the Haiti situation. I won't go into other types of natural disasters. You had certain groups who were, they call that pay for play, where they were pocketing the money, the majority of it, or 95% of the funds. And then you also have, in some instances, like with Puerto Rico, I heard with their mayor and things, with some of the money that was approved by the government, they were stealing the money that was supposed to go towards the people or to help, you know, get the infrastructure back together down there. Not just the mayor, but some other officials involved. And similar to Flint, I saw this reported on WXYZ Channel 7 in Detroit. A lot of times it's mismanagement and stuff. So that's another aspect of it that you have too, is corruption from politicians as well. So if all these people are going to claim too, they want you to vote, be a registered voter, you need to pay attention to the policies and make sure you get a return on your investment, and pay close attention to famous people, athletes, and entertainers that they say are doing a philanthropic work, and pay attention how much of the money is really going to help people, and is it really hurting them individually the same as on their same equivalent as somebody who actually is giving money out of their pocket that has to go towards paying their mortgage or their rent or getting their property taxes paid off. You know, we really need organizations to assist people with that, you know, helping people pay their rent, mortgage, property taxes. Why don't you hear about that? You know, too, that would be great, because that affects people differently than some of these entertainers or people that get put on a pedestal or whatever, get worshipped or whatnot, but it's not really affecting them the same way as it would a poor middle class person who has to worry about living paycheck to paycheck or paying their property taxes or high rent or utility bills. You know, just something to think about. So without further ado, I really didn't want to be before you guys too long, but I wanted to kind of go over and mention the types of criteria and skill sets that I'm specifically looking for. Also, if you do email me, and that's that email from my previous video was in regards to the question that Trina Mays had for me. So the other two messages, if I didn't, like I say, to reiterate, it's best if you can, you want to reach out to me, you need to get it approved first. But I'm going to work on having to set up a Patreon account, other means, because I feel like I should be getting paid for this knowledge that I have. Because if I'm willing to pay for webinars and things that I've purchased in the past, I think individuals, if they want the knowledge from myself, they should be able to do the same. If you want to find out, you want to reach out to me that bad, if it's that important. If not, I'm not going to be concerned. I'm just going to ignore the message. But what I am looking for, if you have a skill sets in branding, for example, where you know how you know how to set up a website, you want to say you want to help me, assist me in that regard. If you have a skill set with Patreon or whatnot, or if you're a member of the private sector, and you say, hey, Dorsey, I feel your pain. I want to look out. I've been following you for a while. You know, I want to show you how to access the currency and how to pull it from the private sector into the public. That would be mad kudos to you. Or I'm also looking for somebody who has a background that's an underwriter, who knows about surety or securities license, that maybe have been a previous stockbroker but knows about the private sector. These are the type of skill sets, criteria that I'm looking for specifically. If you don't have that criteria, I want to see that. If you do, shoot me an email. I need to see that in the subject area. It's important. Other than that, I'm going to ignore the message, because I have a lot of people that have sent me messages from Facebook Twitter, emails in the past, and there's previous people I haven't forgot about. I want to reach out to you as well, such as I believe Lori in Indiana that reached out to me a while back. She had a group out there. I haven't forgot about you. It's just like I said, to reiterate, I've been busy. I work a graveyard shift. Any of you all know, and sometimes my schedules, I'm on a schedule like every day. They have me, these companies, that's a whole nother topic, have been abusive. You know, like they don't even want to give you any time off anymore. You know, it's ridiculous, but I got something for that too, by the way. But without further ado, I'm going to shut things down. That's my time. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you did take the time to watch, appreciate you. Mad love. Kudos to you. You can follow me at Dorseys Resource on Facebook, on Twitter at Dorseys Resource, and of course on YouTube. Don't forget to smash the thumbs up button. Subscribe. Until next time, deuces. Peace.